Word is out that something big's going down in London town tonight. There's a serious card game with the biggest names in the world of sport heading onto the table. There's $7 grand for the heat winner, plus bragging rights over their counterparts. Who's got room in their trophy cabinet for poker silverware? This is the last heat of the Party Poker Sports Stars Challenge 4, and our footballers are getting ready for kickoff. Will it be a footballing hero or an internet qualifier who takes down that last seat at the final table? He's a former Romanian international striker who played 2 seasons for AC Milan in Serie A and won the Champions League. This is Florin, Raducioiu. This online qualifier from Germany has a sporting background, playing hockey for his country, Volker, Venohr. He's a former German international with 68 caps to his name. He played most of his career with Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, with whom he won the European Championship, Thomas Helmer. Capped 67 times for the Netherlands. He played for Barcelona, Rangers, and won the Champions League with Ajax in 1995. This is Ronald de Boer. An online qualifier from Northampton, heating engineer James Dimmer. This former midfielder played for both Spurs and Chelsea. He has 2 FA Cup wins and a UEFA Cup win, Micky Hazard. He's a Danish former international who became something of a legend at Liverpool, for whom he scored 62 goals and won an FA Cup. He plays poker on the EPT, Molby. It's a new playing surface for these boys, but you still need to tackle your opponents and show skills that'll leave them in your wake. Cash is the goal in this match, lots of it. Halftime, full-time, this game starting at 0-0, and appropriately I'm thrilled to be joined by a man, the only thing he loves as much as his poker is his football. Big fan Ian Frazer.
Yeah, Jesse, and I'm just as thrilled to be here, to commentate on this. I can't wait.
And some real sporting legends in this heat. The chips on the table. Green chips worth a pony, $25. Blue chips are $50, and the red chips $100. There's $2,000 in front of every player, which means there's 14 grand in play.
Okay, 25, 50.
And this is even, as we've noticed, in a faster structure than the normal one-table shootouts. You really got to get your chips in here.
Yeah, I think you've got to get moving a bit earlier, Jesse. There's none of this waiting around till the 3rd, 4th level. You've got to start mixing it up early.
This right here, Thomas Helmer, big figure on the German national team that played in the '96 European Championships. I think he was a sweeper. He says one of his most memorable moments is the semi-final against England in 1996. Do you remember that?
Well, they all say that, don't they, the Germans?
I think that's because Germany won that game.
When they're in the crib, that's they're brought up to play football against England, and that's it. I think where he's picked up a small pair here, Helmer, and trying to work out what he's going to raise it here, I think, Jesse.
Cool.
He's just called it.
Pass.
Yeah, he's gone for a call.
Pass.
And I think we'll have to see if the table's going to let him get away with that kind of stuff. If the table lets you get away with it, it's okay to be limping, right?
Yeah, I mean, for a couple of these guys, it's a bit of fun, Jesse. They're not 100% poker players. That they do a little bit in their spare time. I think, as we said, the experiences with Jan Molby. I think he's even played in a couple of EPTs. So, he should be far superior in knowledge at the game than these other guys. We'll see how he performs though.
It's a nice flop for Volker Venohr, the internet qualifier. Now I was just looking at his bio sheet.
100.
He's actually a bit of a sportsman himself. 3-time European champion in junior hockey, and also plays some poker. So he may be well up for this. He might be the favorite here, this Volker Venohr.
Well, he's come out and bet this, but he knows he's got his flush draw. But it is strange, Jesse, when you see these the celebrities play, the first trait they pick up in poker is the bluffing one. You know, everyone wants to bluff, and I think they tend to get that out first.
Now, it doesn't look like a great board for Helmer to be calling on, but you know what? If he does call here, Venohr might just shut down. Sort of two German compatriots here. He's really having a good old think about this.
Cool.
Now, I mean, if you were sitting there in Volker's seat and you missed this turn, would you just try and keep it small? You've had your shot at it.
Yeah, of course. You know, again, when you're playing against these guys, you just haven't got a clue what they got, Jesse.
And that could be a very advanced. You see Thomas fiddling with his chips. I mean, that's a free card
Yeah,
move,
of
isn't
course,
it?
yeah, of
I've
course
seen
it
you
is.
do that.
Of course it is. You know,
Look at that smile. Come on, you got your free card. Yes.
listen, we might be underestimating these guys, Jesse.
That was a nice little move. Now Volker's he hit
Wow.
his out. Yeah. He hit his out, and he's unlikely to get paid on the river. But you know, I don't know how much you might bet. He's loving that card. Just check to make sure. What about 150 maybe? I think that's what he's going to end up betting. Oh!
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Come on, go the whole way. Hold your head in your hands. Well, I'll bet 150. He sold that. I mean,
Yeah,
he sold
yeah.
that the whole way.
Weißt du was? Ich schenke dir das, glaube ich. Doch, doch.
He's let it go.
Yeah. I like the way Helmer played that
Yeah,
hand, actually.
that was an interesting first hand here.
He got the free card. He looks like an athlete, this Volker Venohr. Three-time European champion in junior hockey. Hockey's a pretty rough sport, actually. Here's James Dimmer from Northampton, heating engineer by trade, in a nice spot. I'm sure he's looking around the table, and I'm reading on his bio he's a bit of a football fan, so he's going to have some of his heroes. I don't know who he supports. Who do you support if you're from Northampton? Northampton?
Where is Northampton?
I think it's north of Southampton. That's my guess. And the Rays, De Boer has, I think actually Dimmer just limped.
Yeah,
So-
he did, yeah.
And it's a perfect flop for Dimmer because Ronald's got second pair.
Check.
Not easy to get away from this for one bet. You wouldn't really blame Ronald for peeling off a card here. I think most people would.
Cool.
Cool.
I mean, if you're the internet qualifier here, Jesse, you'd feel pretty comfortable, wouldn't you? You know,
Check.
really, you know these are not the
Check.
the poker stars. See,
Yeah.
he's checked this ace again.
And it's kind of an advanced play. He's thinking he can get some value on the river
200.
rather than push him out on the turn. You know,
I think he was definitely check raising. Yeah, nice pass. I mean, this guy knows what he's doing,
he
right?
does. He does.
He looks a lot better than me. He was out last night, knocking the vodka back. He looks remarkably well on it.
He's
Damn king.
He's got stamina then.
Damn king, he said.
Yeah.
We're thinking about this.
5 and
Nice atmosphere at this table. I think these guys, if they haven't all played against each other on the football pitch, they all know of each other. They all kind of come from a similar era, don't they? I mean, you know, it seems like sort of this
Yeah,
mid-90s, you know, 92, 96 international tournaments.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jesse. They definitely Jan and Ronald, Micky Hazard. I'm not so sure about the Romanian guy. He looks a bit younger than these, doesn't he?
At the moment, I would.
Yeah, well, he played it. He played in the '90 World Cup and the '94 World Cup. So maybe he was probably younger, but he was,
Yeah.
I don't know, 17, 18 or something.
raise
No, wait.
to 200
With
total.
the, yeah, the new, how do we call it? League of Europe. Yeah.
And Dimmer has come in, and Molby's raised this one up from the button. Good button raise, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's kind of mixed up limping and raising, and this is a good spot he's in. Micky gets out of the way. And for James's sake, kind of hope the king doesn't come. Although you feel like Molby's going to win this pot most of the time anyway.
Well, you don't know about this guy's game. He can obviously play the qualifier, but he seems to be more cautious. Obviously, he's the initial raiser, Jan, and he knows that he should continue. You know, this will give him so much confidence. He's sort of doing what he likes, really.
He played in the 2007 Irish Open, Jan Molby.
Yeah, I see him out there. I don't know how deep he got, but he obviously plays his stuff.
It's a tough old tournament, that Irish Open, as you know.
Poker is one of those games that I think everybody's played poker at some stage, and I guess a lot of people have played poker without having much knowledge. And I was one of them until 2006 when I was invited to play in an EPT in Amsterdam. I went and got eaten alive by the pros and started to realise then that there's actually more to the game than what I thought. And since then, I've played a fair bit, unsuccessfully I have to say, but I've enjoyed it, and playing live is a real buzz, I have to say. It's just that little 5-10 seconds, isn't it? You know, where you bet or where you decide to push all in. You know, that is exciting as anything you can come up against in the world. It's similar to the joy you have 5 seconds after having scored a goal. I just love it. Everybody here has told me they can't play poker, but of course it'll be competitive. We'll all want to win. For the time within the tournament, we'll be as competitive as we were as players. The moment you're knocked out, you can kind of live with it because it's not what you do. And in terms of winning, it'd be fantastic if we do my credibility an awful lot of good.
Still a full table, 5 footballers, 2 qualifiers.
Of course, but he would be video analyzers for like hours.
Both of them
a meeting with a guy.
got some athletic experience behind them.
Pass. Raise to 200
And
total.
this is the first time that Molby has seemed like he's actually stepping it up a gear. Is it because he's got some chips to play with?
Yeah, he must feel really confident, Jesse. I think he's played like 5 pots and he's won them all.
Okay.
And
Okay.
now,
He's stolen 2, and he's had genuine
Martin,
hands in the other
gentleman in
3.
seat 1 didn't announce anything.
I'm not
Florin
sure what
3, and then
Raducioiu's
put the other
intentions
one
were.
in.
That's
He didn't
probably
announce
what
anything.
Marty is going to ask him, because there's
Is that
been no
okay?
action behind.
Okay.
Just trying to
That's
keep
now
everything above
400.
board.
Yeah,
Jesse,
it's
that's
just
all.
really a question of what Raducioiu's intentions were. I mean, it's...
Whoop, there we go.
No!
What did he say, all in?
I think so. I mean, it's entirely...
Pass.
Easy decision. for
He
him.
might have put the wrong color chip in by accident.
Me too.
But
I don't mind this so much, the all in with the aces. You know,
Louis has to find the balance, you know.
sometimes you get crazy calls from people at this level.
absolutely. If a guy likes his hand,
Yeah.
he says, what the heck, right?
He showed him an ace. Look, I like his style. I like his style.
Well, this is a guy, Volker Venohr. I mean, just know about him, what he's written on his bio sheet. It seems like he plays quite a bit of poker.
Successful.
2 players with the most poker experience on this table have sort of taken control so far. Jan Molby and Volker Venohr there. And Raducioiu just not really sure what to do with his jack deuce, but why not? Helmer. It's a little like Thomas the Train, isn't he? Taking his time. Now that is very tight, Thomas. Very tight indeed. It was only 50.
No raise.
Big blind Molby checking, and 3 ways for this flop. Nobody's got much of anything.
No, give the ball there.
150.
He's come straight out here, Molby. Middle pair. Just trying to find out where he's at, I guess. He's not married to this hand. And you can see what Raducioiu's thinking. He's thinking, nobody showed their cards yet. These guys keep betting into me, and I'm folding. They must be bluffing at some point, you know? I mean, he's played 4 or 5 of these hands. He hasn't even remotely connected to the flop. You wouldn't begrudge him hitting a card here. I'm not exactly sure what card he needs to hit.
I was going to say, I don't know what card you want to hit there.
9 of hearts. 9 of hearts. I mean,
Whoop.
say, Molby might be betting this no matter what. I mean, sorry, checking this no matter what. I mean, wouldn't you be checking? Wouldn't you be a little bit
Against this guy, because you just haven't got a clue, have you? The way he's been going. That's great. The way he's been playing, how can you put him on anything?
Jeez, I'd love
You
this.
wouldn't.
I
You
mean,
wouldn't.
it's hard to find a raise here for your Raducioiu, but it would work if he could find it.
Call.
He's just called again.
And if he wants to bluff this on the river, and there's no way that Molby's betting anything but an 8 or king on the river, right?
Yeah. Oof. Jesse, you're amazing.
Check.
You can understand why Molby's checking this. He's a little nervous about the flush, and I guess he thinks there might be more value in trying to induce a bluff.
See, another nice pot as well. I mean, there's about 1,000 in this pot.
Sure.
King and 8. Are you good? No?
Sehr gut. Well, that's not how you say it in Romanian, but anyway, it is good. And as long as Molby keeps making the best hands, he knows how to bet them. This game is going to be easy for him. First level, and it has been all Jan Molby, although Volker Venohr played 2 pots and won them.
Yeah, these 2 guys look like the ones that are going to pull away from the rest.
Lines up to 50-100.
I've had 2 picture cards in the
And
old period.
the game is moving along at sort of a steady pace. The pace really suits guys like De Boer and Molby right now. I think they're just sort of picking their spots and picking up pots.
Lit, you know. So ungefähr.
Helmer looks very comfortable.
Well, I would say that Helmer and Florin look the 2 that
Pass. Pass.
haven't really got the game compared to the others
Call.
at the minute. And obviously, Jan Molby is out in front.
Check.
He started this Helmer with...
I like this guy's game here, Venohr.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got a nice game.
Not only that, but it doesn't seem like the cameras have affected him at all. I mean, he's... You know, in his bio, he says he only plays on the internet. He looks like he knows how to play live. He's doing all the moves. His eyes are everywhere.
Check.
And look at this. He's sensed weakness, and he's going to bet it straight out.
150.
It doesn't look like... I mean, it is a head, Raducioiu's hand, but it doesn't look like a great hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to bluff this guy here because he's been calling with sort of almost anything.
Call.
So you'd be done with it most of the time here if you're
Yeah,
Venohr?
I would only be playing this guy if I had something, you know, and then string him along to the river as much, get as much as you can.
Jeez, that was really unlucky for Florin. I mean, that was the only card in the deck, really.
It's mad, ain't it?
Yes, there was.
You can check or
Check,
bet.
check.
Oh, wow. Really? He's going for the
Yeah.
kill.
This guy knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's played a bit more than on the internet.
475.
Okay, thanks.
Went all in?
I think that's going to be
No,
the
he
bet.
just has to count how many he had left.
Yeah, he's all in.
475.
You know, if you put your man on a draw, you want to get it all now rather than
Yeah, of course
leave
you do.
something for the river. You don't want to have any decision on the river, no matter what card it is, I guess.
He's nodding his head, this guy. I don't know whether that means he wants a call or pass.
You can pass or you can call for your chips.
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. Well done.
That wasn't easy. You know, he's only got 475 left.
Well done.
But he did manage to get away from it. He doesn't know how unlucky he got, poor Raducioiu. If I'm reading right, he was also a junior golf champion this Volker Venohr, so he's...
It's all sort of a similar thing, it? Golf hockey.
Oh, geez, all these, but all the poker players are playing golf now. How's your golf game?
I don't play that often, but I'm not bad.
Just depends on how you match up, huh?
It's all about negotiating your handicap on the first tee, golf, I'll tell you that.
See right or left? Left. Always good. you know. We know.
Football talk between the boys.
Press. Cool.
And Molby just creeping in there. You know, these things haven't been punished. And would you like to see Volker raise here? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, either or, Jesse. It's how you feel, really. It's either a raise or sometimes you might just want a flat call and
Raise.
have a look. It's
300 total.
I don't mind both plays, really, there.
it's not to know if Helmer's got something big in the big blind, but I kind of like the raise against Molby because Venohr might be looking over there and thinking, this is not a guy who's going to give me all his chips if I flop a set.
Yeah, and you don't really, you're looking at Jan as chip leader, and he's got the most experience, you would say, so you don't really want to let him limp into any of your pots.
Press.
Try and get rid of him, I suppose.
Big fold by Helmer. The right fold, really, but big fold.
Oh yeah, quite an easy fold, I should imagine.
King, queen suited.
Yeah, a limp and a raise. You don't know what's going to happen with the limp from Jan Molby. It's king queen, it looks pretty because they're suited.
And no, he's not. He's not. This is really strong.
600 total.
I can only guess, Ian, that he's had his eyes on Volker and just saw the way he was handling his chips, and that Volker didn't really know if he wanted to raise or call, and so he must not be that strong. What else could it be?
Well, the other thing it can be is he knows this guy can play poker, so he is representing one of the big hands here.
300 more.
No,
He's limped early and re-raised, so he's telling this guy he's got aces or kings.
Yeah, and he's made it a min raise, which is that's like the strongest limp and a min raise, re-raise.
Exactly.
That's about the strongest play you can make.
Of course. You wouldn't do this play, say, like against Florin, because it'd go over his head. He wouldn't know what's going on. But this guy can obviously play. Jan knows that, and I think that's how he's teeing this hand up.
2,425.
200?
2,425.
Yeah, I mean, Volker has asked about his whole stack. Now, there's two reasons. First, he wants to find out if he can go broke in this hand. I think second, he wants to see if he's got enough equity to try and, set mine, as it were, if he can stack this guy off.
Yeah, you won't like. I was just going to say, Jesse, it's 100% fold. He won't like that hand at all against the way the action's gone. Jan's just told him a story and he's believed it.
Some kind of play.
Fantastic play.
You don't usually see that. In this format, you don't see it often. At this level, that was
top class poker there. Take that, he went.
And as far as table dynamics go, it was huge. Volker was sort of becoming the only guy to challenge Molby's chip lead, and basically Jan put him back in his place.
You wouldn't want to upset this guy, would you? The hockey player. He's he's liable to get beaten, a bad beat, and come over and give you a clump.
No, action 20 now.
Yeah, might have been on the back line in the hockey. Well, the standard raise would be about 300 here.
Oh, look at this fella. He knows how to act, don't he?
He really does.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Now he's setting this up for the benefit of Molby. He's praying Molby will raise him.
Call.
Yeah,
You can check or you can bet.
No, all in.
All in. This guy's eyes have lit up, look. He thinks it's Christmas.
175
I feel really bad for Florin. Now, this
How
is
unlucky is it, Jesse? It's the first cards he's picked up.
Right there. I'm not sure if Volker shouldn't have tried to isolate. Now,
most definitely, Jesse. You know, that's the little bit of inexperience there.
it's not that strong ace-king, is it? And it's not going to play well post-flop without hitting it. I mean, you know, if he misses this flop, he's going to have to be checking down. And
Yeah, I'd have definitely popped that up. You know, now Jan's picked up an open-ender. He's not going anywhere.
he's not.
Raducioiu, look.
I'm
What
not,
a great flop for him. Shame he's all in.
300.
Now, there is a side pot. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about this bet by Molby. He's sort of like betting, you know what I mean? He's betting into a dry
300.
pot, really.
300.
And he's going to have to turn him over. Venohr's eyebrows are going to be raised.
300 back.
Oh, das hast du ihn
Cross,
getroffen.
please.
You
Yeah.
see, just if
Das King weggeworfen.
that's a fantastic flop for him, this guy.
Not
It really is. It'd be,
Rausgedrückt.
it would be criminally unfair if he loses this pot. It's the 4 or the 9 that's not a heart.
Oh, straight. I'm not sure.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Still.
Do you
4
think anyone
cards.
round the table's rooting for Florin?
Everybody. Everybody. That's the first smile he's found tonight. It's not a massive hand, but it's a good 800 or so.
What's up?
And the chip counts. Molby has nearly doubled up without having to turn his cards over. Maybe did it once. Not that much in it.
Yeah, we have and James, the qualifier. I mean, he's been treading water. We haven't really seen anything from him yet. I'd like to have thought that the qualifier should have more experience, really, than these guys. You should really be, you know, trying to take control of the game.
Yeah, one of the few televised poker events where the qualifiers come in and look around and say,
Yes.
okay, I might not be used to
yeah.
the cameras, but I could be the favorite here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's certainly the way Volker Venohr looks to be thinking.
Don't
worry.
Give him a king.
Check.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Obviously, Raducioiu, a lot of talent. You always, you know, these guys when you're playing the highest level of a sport at the age of 17. I mean, he was obviously some kind of phenom. And he'll know that's a good flop, Raducioiu.
Check.
He takes a lot of time with his decisions. I think he's still capable of checking this.
200.
It's a nice bet.
He wants to put these all in, I'm sure.
Oh, do it. Do it! And I mean, really, if you have his stack size Raducioiu's, you do put them all in because then you have some fold equity, right?
I'd have a blister on my finger getting them in that quick. God!
You know, if he calls, he's going to have to only win the pot by making the best hand. If he raises, he can win it right here.
Call. Press.
And the problem is, you can see what Helmer's thinking. Helmer's thinking, help. I want to be anywhere but in this pot.
I don't think any of them know where they are at all. Oh, wow. What a card.
Helmer's got a slight problem here because Raducioiu doesn't have many chips left. So checking and calling, you don't
No,
really, you can't check fold.
You want to get all this guy's chips in, yeah, for sure. He must bet. He must put this other guy all in. He must put Florin all in.
And if Florin's got a 5, then good luck to him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so.
You know, this could be the first time in the history of poker someone's actually had the clock called on, well, just when they're trying to figure out a bet.
400.
And he's gone for 400 after all that. I don't know why he's chosen that. I mean, Raducioiu's got 475. It's a funny bet.
No, it's like on the pitch, you know. Always slowly. All the managers hated me for this, but
They're a class act, aren't they?
He said they used to hate me for this.
Do you imagine him taking a penalty? This is the most entertaining hand I've seen. And it's took about 8 minutes. Hey!
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame. If he does that now, if he does that on the flop, he wins. Here, he's gonna have to hit a card. He's got outs.
Come on, Jesse. Let's get him a diamond up there.
Yeah.
ja, nehme ich mal 3 von dir.
Call,
Yeah.
cards, please.
Quick call. Cards will go over. It's the diamond draw versus the 2 pair. That's all
Or a
that's in
king.
it. Or a king, right? Sure. There's the extra. out.
5 for a split. King, diamond.
Got a 1 in 3 chance of staying in this thing. Oh, it was red. Wrong suit.
It's our first casualty.
And they're going to have to take him off the pitch.
Bring the stretcher on. Bring the stretcher. You don't want to go.
So I think he enjoyed himself. Yeah, he's enjoyed himself.
Yeah, definitely entertaining.
Florin
Next time
Raducioiu.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Right. 7th place here. I had some chips if that diamond came. Also played in Serie A, Raducioiu, but here the flush draw. Well, he was going to have to go with this at every stage, really, once the flop came down.
Yeah, that was a bit of a hand. I knew the deuce was going to do some damage.
2 pair for Helmer, and he did manage to get the money in there when he was ahead. And, I'll tell you what, he's going to have some chips now. $2,400.
I got some for him.
It's not easy anyway. But I saw that they have a lot of experience, so it's difficult for me, you know. But I lose with honor.
Red card for Romania. 6 still running on this field, but only 1 seat left at the final table. Who will grab it? Welcome back to Party Poker Sports Stars Challenge 4. I'm here with Ian Frazer. And Ian, it's an international lineup of footballers here. German, Dutch,
Pass.
Danish, and poor English Micky Hazard, who's feeling
Pass.
like he's a marked man there.
You put my runaway.
They've shadowed him every time he's tried to touch the ball.
Call.
It's mine.
Helmer's having fun. Look how much fun he's having.
Check.
It's easy when you win.
Yeah, you have to check.
Yeah, he's there. Then
We just
That's first time.
yeah, sounds
really?
I've got nothing, I just wanted a game.
Yeah.
Hey, great. That's great. It's my second time, by the way.
Small blind to speak first, and is it tough? He's been sort of getting into it with Frank de Boer a little bit.
He was on George Best.
Flush draw for Helmer.
200.
De Boer's like, wow, you did that
Not
quick.
slowly.
This has to be a wind-up, does it? Is this a wind-up?
Yeah.
He's just fooling with him.
I know. I see it in your eyes.
Oh.
So.
What's happening here?
Well, he's just had enough, Micky Hazard, hasn't he? This is the first pot he's
You
played.
want to raise?
Okay, bear with me. Put the chip back.
It's the first pot he's played, and he's decided, hey, I'm going to get aggressive,
okay.
take this
You
to
just
the
said
hill.
raise,
You know
we
what?
could have let it go, but I
He might get this through.
It's 50%.
What was your
all.
intentions?
Raise.
Okay.
400, 200 more.
Run for it, run.
What were your intentions? Raise!
Referee.
And,
Cool.
like, if you're Helmer here, and, I mean, you expect Micky to have at least a pair of jacks every
Oh, yeah.
time.
You've got to put him on something. I mean, it's the first hand he's played.
Oh, even better.
Oh, mate.
That's a shame, because if it doesn't come that club, Micky Hazard wins this pot.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Helmer can call with an ace, but maybe not.
And he might take... Oh, look at this guy! He might take off as well, Micky. I think if he'd have just had a quick check,
Yeah.
Micky Hazard might have took off on this.
Yep.
He just can't resist betting.
It's funny, he's sitting here counting his chips all day. I'll bet if you went to the table and asked him how many chips he
Wouldn't
had,
have a clue.
Yeah, he would have to count them again. He does not know, does
See
he?
that? That's just...
Is it?
1,000.
he's just cost himself some chips here.
Yes.
You know, that's the first time he's got out of his pram, Micky Hazard, and it's a bluff.
Yeah.
And the guys
Simple.
come out and put him off of it, you know.
Yeah.
Bad.
He can't help himself there.
Right.
What a giggle. But he's still yet to win a pot, Micky Hazard. Obviously, he's going to try something to get some pots. But he needs cards.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, if you're that card dead, you just try and make things happen for yourself.
I kind of like it. I thought it was pretty creative.
Yeah.
Do you have Tastic Champions League again?
Now, it is a strategy. Blinds up to 75, 150 in pre-card brag. You sit there tight for a while and then just go to the races. Just start betting. I mean, is that?
Yeah, look how he looks at his cards. It's great, ain't it? Go on, Micky. It's his first ace.
I think it is his first ace.
Yeah.
25 hands.
It's amazing, isn't it, what you can pick up. Look, if you just look around, he's been looking at his chips. You know he's going to play.
Call.
Call.
Pass.
In for 150. And Volker's, he's having a real think about it now. It's not about his cards. He was more trying to see if there was opportunity here. Didn't really think so.
I'd put a firework under his chair if I was on the table. He'd drive me nuts, this guy.
Pass.
Oh.
Call.
Wow.
Not
Nice.
sure I'm crazy about that. Obviously, he doesn't know what Micky has, but you have to imagine this is only second pot he's played that he would play for a raise, right? And you want to build the pot when you know you have the best hand.
Yeah.
But he may get on anyway.
$250.
Yeah, I like that.
Pass.
What are your intentions, Micky?
Call.
This is the first pair that Hazard has seen. The first time he's even remotely matched the board. He doesn't have that many chips left. I kind of feel that he may even be committed to this on the turn and try and hit the river. Wouldn't exactly blame him for it. It's
200.
it's hard when you finally
Okay.
get a piece after being card dead.
250 goes. Called.
Is there any way that Micky's going to be able to get the burr off this hand without hitting a card?
I don't think so.
Queen maybe, an ace maybe.
Check.
Oh, ace would have made his best hand.
Check. Okay, gentlemen.
Good one. Show your cards.
Two jacks, good enough.
Pass.
Yes.
And
Yeah, that's a nice pot there he's picked up with the jacks.
Yeah, the king, I thought.
He's got the most out of that.
yeah.
He probably could have gone.
Micky Hazard now sort of taking the place of Raducioiu on the bottom of the pile. He's looks like he's thinking of tapping up Jan Molby for a loan.
Pass. Pass. Pass.
He's a big guy, Ronald de Boer.
Pass.
One hand more. Oh, sorry.
Has to be.
That's correct.
Has to be 200 because
He's-
we're in for
Well, he said 100
150, so
more.
300 from you.
Yeah, I
Wait.
think they'll make it up to
Yeah,
300.
300.
It's kind of a nice play because from what we've seen of, I mean, it's
That's
no
snapping
hand at all,
race
but
to
Helmer
150
should be
more,
folding
300.
most of his hands here.
Where he's got a small. Let's see how he wants to play these.
Oh, what would you do? In position, you're not going to like many flops, but
Nah, you probably want to. You know, he's probably going to. If he calls this, he's probably going to call a bet on the flop. So you might as well put your chips together and re-raise now.
call.
in fact, a lot of flops that Helmer's going to think are good flops are actually going to hit Venohr because he's got completely random cards. Oh.
Well, it's a shame because he's not going to get $1 out of this pot at all.
And yet, if you do raise with the 9-4 here, do you have to be willing to make a continuation bet, or can you just shut it down now that you've gotten cold?
Well, yeah,
100.
he's going to, but he's not going to put any more in. I can't see. I mean, unless he really thinks this guy, you know, is putting his chips in on a whim.
What is the play here overall? Is it just to make a little raise and hope the guy's got something?
Well, no, just flat call him.
You're in position.
Yeah, of course. Of course. He can't because
Raised.
we saw him when he hit the nut flush. He should have checked that hand.
850 total. 850 total.
Right.
And
He just can't help himself.
no, he can't help himself.
850 from him?
Yeah.
That means
So
7 from me
700.
more.
It's quite common with average players.
And Volker is never calling this ever, and he knows it now. Do you think he might ask for a count of Helmer's stack before he folds?
Flush, bro.
Je kunt die aan tip geven.
He should, if he's, you know, I don't know whether he's genuinely thinking these things or it's just a bit of acting, but
Maar goed.
you know, he should just think back to the other hand.
When he bets, he's got it,
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
Thomas Helmer. I bet he's never made a slide tackle in his life.
I'm not very experienced about poker. It's my second time I play, so I think I'm the underdog today. When you get all in, you got this. It's similar to soccer when you go to a final. I know the guys. We had some fights on the soccer field, but not on the poker table. So that's very interesting. It's a new experience.
Pass.
All in.
Go on, Micky.
Now that's,
Pass.
it looks easy, but it wasn't. But he knows that's the bet. And you know what? Not an automatic call here for, I mean, maybe the big blind has to call, but these guys don't have to. He wouldn't mind getting called by Helmer here. I think it would be a bit unfair if Mickey Hazard's not allowed to win one pot here tonight. I think he cares too much about his chips to call.
Pass.
Cool.
Boer's made up his mind pretty quick. And there is 600 plus in this pot. Well, it's not much, but it's a start. And it's ahead.
Where's up?
There's not a lot in it between the two hands.
3. Okay.
Come on, ace for the sad man.
No,
All I can
absolutely good.
There you go.
Lucky. Oh, but
Lucky. Who called him lucky? Poor guy.
Jack king.
He's had nothing but dust and
Jack.
dirt in his, been thrown into his face so
Yeah.
far.
yeah.
There we
Big
go.
sigh of relief he's
Yeah.
done there.
Starting to think the game was bent.
Are you still here?
Just. I've always played cards. It's a sort of notorious in football, and I was a sort of quite a heavy 3-card brag player. And in many ways, it's similar to poker. I start off very patient, and I would say at the start of any game, that's when I play my best. When I'm winning, I'm unstoppable. But I think that if I'm losing, I'm not a very good player because I chase. And I want my money back. No matter what you do, you go in it to win, or certainly that's how we were brought up, is that, you know, I get fed up with hearing this comment that, oh, it's the taking part that counts. No, I'm not interested in finishing 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th. There's only one place to finish, to win, and so winning is everything.
Micky Hazard not in a comfortable spot here. He's in his big blind. He's only got 400, 150 of that's in. There's not many options for him. I'm not sure if he can fold any 2 cards here. Maybe the absolute bottom of the range. What do you think?
Yeah, he must put them in. I don't even think these guys probably not even picking up on it.
It's not a good sign, you know, Jan. When you.
The good news for Micky Hazard is that really no matter what he has, he's not going to be in terrible shape against an ace-deuce.
That's right.
We'll see if it gets there.
Raise to 300 total.
I'll W up, says Ronald de Boer. W up or take you out. And all in. Oh, well, yeah, that's Micky.
Again.
Well,
yeah, he's not bad.
I'm not sure of how much he's trailing by. It's
No, I have the
if
same
he's
hand
trailing,
as
it's only
well.
by a
Yeah.
few percentage points.
Ace-3? Ace-2? Even worse.
2, yeah.
55, 45 maybe?
Oh,
Not
yeah,
even.
right, hey?
Not even a virtual toss of a coin.
For sure. I like more his hand than mine.
Come on, the spades. Oh, that's an ugly flop for Micky Hazard. Great flop for de Boer.
7 of spades would be a nice card.
Still open.
5 of spades. No, he's
that's
out
it.
as.
He's been shown the red and the door. And that's a little rub in the teeth.
Yes.
Bring on the stretcher, number 2.
And he really never had a chance in this. With the cards that he got,
Good luck.
Yeah, I think he done the best with what he was dealt.
not only did he not hit any hands, but every time he was in a pot, his opponent made the nuts. Rough combination.
There's our man at the top of the tree.
Yeah.
Jesse Thomas. He's been playing great.
He really has. He really has. Pretty balanced. I mean, these guys have all won a bunch of pots. You can see just James Dimmer has not really had his fair share. May have to step it up.
I'm disappointed 6th isn't what I came to be because I'll be forgot. There was only one place I wanted to finish, and that was 1st.
Well, the blinds will go up again now that we're 5-handed. 1 in 200, Ian. And is this when Jan Molby is going to start to step it up?
Well, this is what we've been expecting. Jesse, I still think he'd rather see one more player go. You know, if he's still there. I think he's got 3,100, and he's had that for about half an hour. So he obviously thinks that's enough chips to crack on with.
It's an average stack, and yet it's only 15 big blinds.
Raise. 400 total. Pass.
Min raise from de Boer, and it looks like a quick call here, and that's why. Yeah, you're not crazy about it because his stack's just not big enough, is it?
No, I definitely don't like this, and you know, out of position. Don't like this at all.
So there might have been some flops that Molby was planning on making a steal stab at it, but that looks like a looks like the kind of flop that if you liked your hand before the flop, you should still like it. And you know, if Molby had thought, well, de Boer, he might just check it if he misses. No, he ain't.
No, I'm quite surprised. I thought he would probably check this, but you know, because there's nothing, you can't put if you put in Jan on maybe a smallish pair, you can't bet him off of this.
Right.
You know, and if he's called him with like an ace jack or an ace queen, something like this, again you can't bet him off it.
And Jan was really thinking. He wasn't thinking of calling. I think he was thinking about making a big shove and just thinking of, was it worth it to do that right then?
I thought that's probably well. I mean, he's played about 7 pots. He's won 6. That's the first one he's lost. So, but that was a big mistake calling that out of position. You know, it's a terrible couple of cards anyway.
No problem. No problema. See,
Nothing mushkila.
Pass. Raise 400 total.
Did you have to do that? This guy. Oh, I don't like this. What do you think? The call?
No, we've seen him pass that a couple of times. You know, similar situations. So now he's got the chips as well.
It's like one of those little fakes they do with the ball. Every time he fiddles with his chips, you know, he's going left and
It's
then
the
he
step over.
Yeah. And you can see what Dimmer's only got 1,600. So I don't know if that's his strongest option. But if he hits the ace, Ian, yeah, well, he's not to know that he's going to be ahead. What's he going to do? Put the rest of the stack in with it. There's 900 in this pot. And I think that Volker is going to win this. What do you think?
Yeah, I do.
Check, bet, fold?
Yes. Whoop.
Well, this is good. If he finds this, this is good.
400.
Stop and go.
Pass.
Well, we just said, didn't we, 2 hands ago? You know, his buddy told me that this guy's normally got an aggressive game. We've seen him now. You know, he's been really patient. He hasn't got involved. He's passed loads of hands, and maybe he's decided now. Let's have a pop.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm told that play has gone slightly out of fashion, but you know what? It worked here, and it was a pretty creative way to play the hand.
My name's Jamie Dimmer. I'm 46-year-old eating engineer from Northampton. Today I've come to win it. Don't know what standard to expect, so we'll have to wait and see. If the table's aggressive, I'll just sit there nice and tight and wait my time and hopefully get some chips. The player I'm most looking forward to playing against today is Jan Molby. I don't think he'd like to know I'm from Northampton, because last time I seen him he was not very happy on the pitch at Wembley after Northampton had beat Swansea.
There's the table football.
They call that foosball over here. Is that just in America? Foosball. Table football.
Table football here. Very skillful game. This guy must be getting, he's frustrated. You can tell he wants to play, don't he?
Yeah.
He wants to play, and he's been picking up absolute garbage for the last 40 minutes.
Raise.
Raise.
Oh, he's
getting
some nice cards now.
Yeah, but not having seen them, you know, you're Jan Molby, you're saying, hey, this guy has now raised 3 pots in a round, and
there you go. See, curiosity's getting the better of him.
now I'd kind of like to see him re-raise here, but if he does, he's going to be gestunked.
Gestunked? What's that?
I think gestunked. It's gestunked. I think it's a German sauerkraut.
I like this flop for these 2 hands.
He's got the right idea. I wonder whether he's bet enough. It looks like he's bet that to fold to a raise, and if Molby picks up on that, Ian.
Well, it's an automatic push for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's twice now where Molby, it looked like he was thinking about making a shove, and if he just decides that he's going to have to gamble sooner or later to win this tournament, This is it a good time for it? Is Dimmer going to get off this?
Right.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a good play.
That's exactly what, it's just the bet wasn't big enough,
No,
was it?
I mean, Dimmer's sort of put his head on the chopping block with that when he led out there. You know, and Jan knows now he's passing, you know, immediately. He just completely I'd rather have seen him check it, you know, because the thing is, his ace-king's probably 9 times out of 10 is going to be good anyway.
Now, I mean, it'd be very interesting for Dimmer to decide, hey, he's making a move on me. You know, he knows, listen, Molby could have done this with a flush draw. It could be a pair. It could be 3 jacks, in which case he's drawing dead. Could it be another, like an ace?
He's going to pass, isn't he, this guy? By leading out, he's just completely lambs to the slaughter there. You know, he's opened his legs for the nutmeg, hasn't he? And Jan's kicked the ball between his legs, and now he's run around the outside to get it.
And really, you know, Jan has given no indication during this match that he's capable of doing this with air. He picked his time well. And look at this, 4,200. I mean, that's the pot.
That was top class poker. That hand, you know, he played it perfect.
I can understand what's going through Dimmer's head. You know, when you're in one of these, you want to give yourself as many chances as possible. You say, I don't want to get knocked out by moving my chips in too early, but the problem is you just don't really have that luxury here, no matter how much you want to be safe, there is no safe.
No, you know, and you haven't got room for these mistakes. 2 mistakes, you're out as really. You haven't got room for it, so you must concentrate and pay attention to everything what's going on.
Call.
I think you hit that nail on the head. 2 mistakes, you're out. This is mother's milk here to Molby.
This is what we was just saying. You know, he's good enough to see this, that there's dead chips in the middle. Let's take them.
But look at the size of this raise too. He's raised the size of the pot. I mean, you know, no fooling around. He knows exactly what to do. You cannot call that after limping. He thinks he's going to win that about 98% of the time.
Yeah, exactly right.
And basically now, Molby, he took a little bit of a gamble, but without putting himself in too much danger, he's all of a sudden, he's picked up about 1,500, which is a load. The blinds are 1 and 2, so if he makes a raise here, he has to take on Volker's stack no matter what. And probably doesn't have to take on Helmer's stack. Is my guess. This is a really bad spot. Helmer's folding. You like this spot?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Thomas is not going to play a hand, you know, on his big blind unless he's got a big hand. And you know, even any ace, he's going to pass. You know, a weak ace. So Jan's in the perfect position here.
Now, Volker's on the button here, Ian. The last round he was on the button. He folded, you know, like a 7-8. I mean, of course you do. But he was waiting around for some cards. I don't think he can wait anymore. All of a sudden, he's got 5 big blinds. He may have to push a 7-8 right now.
Yeah, and
folded.
again, you know, he's in a great position here because we've seen Ronald don't play any cards. You know, and when we've just said about Thomas, so.
He was not working in the car.
Yeah, he knew exactly. He knows he waited 1 round and that was all he was waiting. Well, I like that. You gotta like that.
Don't give me too good hands.
Boy, look at how strong he put those in. He doesn't want to call in a million years. Don't think Helmer's not going to milk this situation for all the value he can.
I think he
Look at that! Look at that!
Jesse, I really think he genuinely don't know whether to call or not. Honestly, I don't think this is a bit of acting.
Volker's going to have nightmares about Helmer. I think he's going to. You think he might actually pass this?
No, I don't. But I genuinely think he's got a bit of a decision himself. He's just thinking about the cards. He's not thinking about Volker's position.
Right. De Boer doesn't look very interested in this, does he? I don't think he's calling. I don't know what he's got, but I don't think he's calling.
This guy could never have taken a penalty in his life. Can you imagine him? Is the ball on the spot? Hold on, move it over a little. Here comes the yellow card. Is that the referee in the background? Whoops.
He's got a clock. He's got the clock in his right hand.
This is great.
I mean, from his perspective, it is a tie. Obviously, he knows he has to take 5 cards if he calls. I mean, it is a big spot in this tournament. But
this is what I was saying to you earlier. This is why Jan Molby is in such a great position, because he nearly passed Ace Jack.
Right.
You know, so you must pick on his big blind.
He's called, and watch Volner's face when Helmer turns his over. He said, "You were thinking with that?"
Cards, please.
I mean, listen, this Volker's not in horrible shape here. Look at this, 33%.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know what's better for the game, really. But the deck will decide. That's a good flop for the ace. Venohr has got a backdoor hard draw, but really the king or the 8.
Not much. 5 or 8.
Yeah, 5 for a
What do you
split.
need? 8.
Yeah,
That's 8.
My guy.
Or a 5.
Bring on the stretcher.
Good luck.
He played all right, this guy.
He did. He did. He tried hard. His cards went a little dead at the end. I mean,
thanks a lot.
You know, he was going to have to win that race. He got his chips in there. He had to get his chips in there. He knows he did.
Wow.
And Helmer.
Could you imagine him torturing you? You'd be there for days, wouldn't you?
Look at this. A tie at the top between the German and the Dane. Little drop off to De Boer and a big drop off to Dimmer. I feel like Dimmer knows exactly what he is, though. He knows exactly what he has to do.
Yeah, he must know. You know, there's no holding back now. He's just got to get his chips in the right position.
It's okay. This is poker, and if you get no cards, you have not so big chance. Huh? It's okay for me. It was funny, and it was my first television contest, and it was okay.
What from?
Blinds are up, as a matter of fact. 150, 300. That raise may be gone. It's still got maybe make it 650, maybe.
Well, you can't really raise that little, Jesse, because you know you're giving the guy the odds to call with almost anything. The worst it's going to have to be is 800. The worst.
He's in the zone.
He's in the zone.
It does seem like he's in the zone. He's been a bit of a machine all of a sudden, Helmer. Now he's picked up an ace 3 hands in a row. Ace, jack. You know, Dimmer doesn't have many options.
Well, this is dodgy for him. He'd rather be pushing in and not calling, especially with this hand. This is a pretty tough decision for him.
Is he going to get a better spot? I mean, we obviously know Helmer has the ace-8, but is he going to get a spot to get his chips in first?
Yeah, he's in the small blind here. I think if he was in the big blind, then he has to put his chips in. I think he can let this go. Myself, I'd rather let that go and
move in with nothing.
Yeah.
Pass.
And maybe what swung it for him is that he saw Helmer agonize with that ace jack, and he's thinking, I mean, this guy must be tight.
I mean, he hasn't really showed a great deal of his hands, has he? So I don't know what these guys are thinking about.
It's a bit funny, isn't it? Yeah. Like we know, he's flopped a set. He's made the nut flush on the turn. But yeah,
You couldn't blame him for thinking that he's at it, but he's not. He's been playing solid, hasn't he?
Yeah. Now, I feel that if De Boer folds here, just from what we've seen of Dimmer, that, well, De Boer's not folding, but Dimmer might have been raising.
Raise to 600 total.
De Boer's only got 20 big blinds, excuse me, 10 big blinds.
Pass. Pass.
He needs to get this through.
Whoops. There we go again.
De Boer could have made it a lot easier on himself by shoving all in. I mean, what? Is this giving Helmer an opportunity to just call and see if he likes the flop, or is it giving De Boer a chance to get away? He can't really get away from it.
He cannot do that. I mean, he might have it in his mind because he flopped a set earlier, but he can't do that. He must push it.
He can't call, you're saying?
No, no, he can't call it. He must push.
I don't like them, so
Yeah, so yeah.
put the red ones. I want the red ones.
So give me your red ones. You can get my blue ones. No problem for me.
This is genuinely
it's
a bit of a tricky decision.
Yeah, well, if Ronald had less chips, it's automatic push. I think it's a pass or an all-in myself. Definitely wouldn't be calling.
1350 in the pot, and De Boer's got somewhere in the neighborhood of 20. Well, he loves that. I mean, you just absolutely love that flop with an ace-jack. Ace of hearts as well. Those eyebrows go up.
Check.
Might even put a bet out there that looks a little weak.
Check.
Ooh,
nice play, yeah.
Wow, that's very tricky. That's very, very tricky. I think he's going to get Helmer for some money here.
He might do. Might do.
That's not a great card from Helmer's point of view. Anything over the seven's not.
I think
great.
Thomas, he'd love it if he could check this to the river.
You know, you wouldn't be completely amiss if you were Helmer here for saying this looks like an ace-queen or an ace-king, would you? Or would you have been quite happy to check the ace-queen and the ace-king on the turn if you checked them on the flop?
Yeah, of course. Every time he's took a lot of time, this guy, he's wound up putting his chips in afterwards. I fancy this is going to be the first time he passes.
And the idea from his point of view being that he just doesn't really need to take this on now. I mean,
well, no, he don't. That's why I know it was only a min raise to him pre-flop, but still, I would have re-raised or passed there. I wouldn't have bothered calling.
De Boer gets it through, and that's going to keep him healthy-ish.
The last one wouldn't help. So
yeah, you know, he's in good position there. 4,000.
For that amount?
Yeah.
This still feels wide open four ways, although of course James Dimmer lagging at the other side of the field just a bit.
For a hand,
The
what
other
is not
three
very
have
strong.
sprinted on our own side.
As we say, 50-50.
Yeah,
always before the game.
Raise.
And the idea here for Molby, all of the sudden, Dimmer, since he won that last pot.
Don't like this.
You don't like it?
No, not. The reason being is you're on James's big blind.
Yeah, but isn't he thinking that Dimmer has just won a pot so he can afford to fold now?
No, not really, because if he's got any pictures, he must call.
Call.
You know, and his hand's not strong enough to get a call off anyone. The Queen 5. I don't like that play at all.
Pass.
Now, Molby's going to have to be very careful here. Gosh, if the ace comes and De Boer sneaks it to him.
Wow, look at this.
Check.
I wonder if Molby might actually check this. No? It's like, it's a kind of hand that if you're ahead, you're unlikely, you don't mind giving free cards, if you know what I mean. And no?
Yeah, that's how I would play.
And if you get called here, you're skunked. Now,
Yeah.
as it turns out, it's an interesting situation because De Boer can't
1,000.
really pass, can he? Does he have to go all in here?
Well, it's, you know what he's got to think about. If he does decide,
All in.
this is their tournament now, both of them.
And basically, Molby's let him bet him off this here, in a sense. I mean,
I think he passes Molby here. You know, it's the same. It was the same situation now as what it was with Dimmer and Molby earlier, when a pair flopped.
Like, all you can beat if you're Molby is the flush draw and complete air, because if De Boer's got a queen, Molby is in big trouble here. There's no way it's not a queen with a reasonable kicker.
No.
Pass.
And I think that might have been the first mistake Molby made.
Well, you know,
you might have just bet that anyway. Yeah,
he's been check raised. Like we said, I would prefer to have checked that as well in position. You know, you've got your pair.
Either way, a nice strong play by De Boer.
Yeah, look at this, Jesse. He's put him up the top now with all the chips. You know, he's been sitting there really patient, and it's rewarded him. You know, he's 5,500.
He's got a great table image. I don't think anybody thought he was capable of that. Check raise all in on the flush draw, but he is.
Always 2 hours.
Who do you make the favorite right now? Is it De Boer just based on chips?
Yeah, I think you have to, really. I know it's only, what's he, about 1,000 in front? Something like that? No, he's not even that. He's about 800 in front.
Oh.
Any of these four, really.
And Molby can just... Surprised he didn't just ship it there. He may be very confused by De Boer's call.
Yeah, well, they've been playing very cagey. You know, when they raise their only minimum raise in, they know they're basically committing all their stack if they raise any more than that.
He might be worried, Molby, that De Boer has something big.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Another pair flop.
What do you do now, Jan? There's 900 out there. He needs it the most, Molby. He's in the worst position.
Check. Check.
What do you do now? Well, now you have to bet. Now you got the ace of diamonds.
Yeah.
Check.
Oh.
Check. Check.
Gosh. If they let Thomas Helmer win this, they have. They're gonna let him win this one. He's gonna fiddle for about a minute.
Yeah, he's teasing.
And Molby's gonna be sick when he sees this. He's actually gonna be pretty sick about this. He's
laughing. The guy.
Oh, that's a dagger through Molby's heart. He could have won that pot before the flop, on the turn, and on the river. He knows it.
This guy, he loves it.
He's showing
So no, we met 7-8.
He's gutted. Look.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. How many times could I have won that?
Oh, I don't think he doesn't know it.
That's the French shirt.
Pass.
Raise.
Raise.
And De Boer saying he'll take on Dimmer's stack. Poor James. Yeah, he may just have to go with this. I mean, this is no fun no matter what he does, really. Does he want to play with 650 or does he want to try and gamble for 1,800? What do you think?
Get it in.
Try and play an 1,800 pot.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, James, and gamble.
Pull your trousers up, hold your breath, and push them in. Just make sure that all the aces.
$150 next, isn't it?
There's no one is going to give him any help here, except maybe the deck.
But I hope I get lucky.
Yeah. And maybe the deck will help him out.
Also for the
Yeah, I think he's made the right play there.
Oh, very cool.
Call.
I have nothing on that.
315.
I had nothing. He goes, Ronald.
Still got to get lucky.
I had nothing, Queen 9.
350 more?
Oh, cool.
See, that's the difference. He thinks he's bluffing with that hand.
Right.
Yeah.
To watch.
Look at that, 40% equity. You know,
50% chance that he has nothing.
I should have done it hands ago.
it's
Queen is not so bad.
he said 50% chance that he had nothing. Either he had nothing or he had something. It's one of the two.
He's just admitted to himself here, James. He said, I should have done it ages ago. He's right, you know.
Got a bit for the camera.
He's got the full complement of 6 outs, but doesn't feel like the touch line is coming. No.
Cheers, boys.
Bring on the stretcher.
Good luck. Cheers, John. Good luck, mate.
That's the right time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of red cards in this game. They're playing short-handed here now. Just 3 on the field. 3 men down.
The loss, if I lose it, I'm still alive.
Today I thought I did reasonable. Just could have been more aggressive. I just tried to sit there, see what people were doing, and made the cardinal sin of let myself get too low in chips, and in the end just going in with rubbish cards. So it was thoroughly enjoyable. Really enjoyed the day. It was a good experience. So I look forward to doing it again, hopefully.
Connected to Stefan Effenberg? No.
It is a question if anybody is going to be aware of how the values of the hands change three-handed and when. Even if you're like Jan Molby and you play a lot of poker, you don't play a lot of three-handed poker. Nobody does, except like you. You play this all the time. You know, this is your home here. I mean, it's like he'll know that's a good hand. I mean, he'll know that's a good hand.
Well, especially on the button. I mean, it's plenty big enough.
He's an expert like Hitzfeld.
He don't want to be minimum raising with this though.
Raise.
It's
what's he raised it to?
600 total.
It feels so dangerous. I mean, Ronald de Boer gave him absolute fits last time in the same spot. The only difference, Jan's. Oh no, Jan was in position then too.
He lost so much.
And he's got to hate this. He's got to hate this.
You know, he should be putting the pressure on these guys with this sort of hand. You know, he can't get the other guy off it now.
De Boer wins this pot now. Now, does he check raise or does he lead out?
Check.
Well, that was a nice check.
You know, this is
Check.
exactly what we now. Oh, now he's moved all in. Look, he's got to get called.
Call.
Maybe a high pair, but
He doesn't, Ronald. He doesn't. You got him. And
7.
Oh,
it's the 7,
Yeah,
the
it's the
ace,
7,
or the
the ace.
queen, as a matter of fact. 23% here, but Jan, he's missed.
I think he made a complete ash of that hand. Wow. Jesse, really. I think if he moves all in pre-flop,
He wins.
he wins. Ronald has to pass. It's a shame, really. He's played well throughout the heat, and this is what I'm saying. You must concentrate 100%.
He was scoused.
He got tripped up with the ball.
And once that flop comes down, De Boer is attached to his cards, to the pot, to Molby's chips, money on the turn, and then the straight on the river. Overkill.
In my play today, I re-raised a couple of pots with nothing, just sense and weakness in the other guy. And I think when you do that, it's always nice. But also, that happened to me, and that was probably the biggest hand I lost. And that's what cost me my chips in the end. I was forced then later on all in on a straight draw. But generally, I'm sure the commentators will have one or two things to say, but I was pleased enough.
Just 2 footballers left. It's Netherlands and it's Germany. They've met a few times on the international stage.
They must have done. They've probably kicked lumps out of each other, haven't they?
On the one side, this is Thomas Helmer, and he's played a very steady game. He's been hugely entertaining. I wonder if he's going to step it up, because Ronald de Boer, has he got the aggression, you think?
I don't know. I think they both played really steady, to be fair. You know, Ronald's probably been the more taking more risks than the two of them overall in the heat. So maybe he should be the one that takes charge in the heads up.
I mean, he's tried to check raise. He's had a couple good check raises to Boer tonight. Helmer's been a little more straightforward. Every time he's got a hand, he bets it out.
Yeah, he has, yeah. But he doesn't know this, Ronald. You know,
No, it's hard for you.
we've had the luxury of seeing his cards. I think this could go on for a few days, though.
Check.
Yes.
The indication already is that they're going to play flops. Now, the question is, who's going to win more pots when they both miss?
At the beginning of the heat, we saw Ronald that he made two continuation bets, didn't he, with nothing.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to be this guy.
I think Thomas may have to bet here, or else he's going to end up checking and folding. It's very hard to adjust to heads up. You know, you're adjusting the whole time through these things. You don't really know the value. Bottom pair, what's the value of bottom pair heads up?
If you've hit anything on the flop, you've got to put yourself as favourite in the hand. But I think this is going to go on for quite a long time, unless they get like aces against kings, something like this, because the amount they're raising is not enough for the other person to pass. So they should basically see every flop.
Yeah.
Not that much in it. I mean, De Boer's got the similar chip lead to when they started. You know, you do get the feeling he'd be an enjoyable guy, Helmer, to have in a home game, but there'd be special Thomas Helmer rules. You know, he's only allowed to talk when he's not in the hand.
That's it.
He only has 30 seconds of decision.
They'd have the chess clocks out, wouldn't they? Here, check this. I knew he'd check it.
Yeah.
Van der Sar. Fine die goes.
Okay. Van der Sar, top pair. He doesn't care about Van der Sar. This is the move. This is De Boer's move. And he might all of a sudden be willing, geez, that's such a strong bet. Am I sure I want to get all the money in? But you have to.
Cool. Yeah, nice play.
You like the play because...
Well, it's erring on the cautious side, and you know, he doesn't want to be re-raising there in case this guy's hit it bigger than him.
And he can be rather sure that Helmer is going to shut down unless he's got a big hand. He's right.
He knows now, yeah.
Ooh. Wow. And De Boer's found a very... No, Helmer missed it. He doesn't realize he's got this straight. And if he doesn't turn his cards over...
He's gebuchstuckt.
If he doesn't turn... Well, he has turned his cards over. If he didn't turn his cards over, he loses the pot. You know what I mean? They can only announce the hand.
Why didn't you bet?
I want to make it longer. I would go. I was thinking you have an ace, so I wouldn't check.
I think Helmer genuinely didn't see it.
Oh, he definitely.
He checked the nuts on that. Yeah,
100% he didn't know.
Where's he now? Yeah, thank him. Yeah.
He went to Mallorca, he did very well. Then to Betis Sevilla, very well.
He's thinking me, or what's he talking about? I've got 7,000 chips.
De Boer's thinking, geez, if I can get him to miss the nuts on the river here, let's go from Van der Sar to David's all the way. We'll go forward and back.
432?
No.
Great to watch this, Jesse. I mean, these two are out and out stars in their day, you know, playing for their teams, and to see them here now battling out on a poker table.
It's
great.
Did he sign or not? I'm not sure.
Yes,
they offered him 1 year, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Now we've got something happening. De Boer in the big blind, and he saw Helmer reach for chips. He's got top pair. He check called top pair last time. And he did get to see that Helmer bet with bottom pair that time. So
yeah, do you think he took it in though?
Raise.
I think he had to. I think he did.
1,400. 1,000 more.
I like the size of that raise. Because I was going to say, I think he can figure out if he gets called, he can shut down, and he's not committed to the rest of his stack. If Helmer calls here, I mean, De Boer must be a bit worried. He has to be worried.
Well, because of his 3, he's worried.
Yeah. And like, this is a very drawy board, so if it comes, well,
oops.
All in.
All in.
Oh well, that's it.
I think you're right. Don't think Helmer can fold now. It was a pretty bold call by Helmer.
I think he
wasn't it?
should look at his cards. Do you think he knows he's got a 6?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a little smile there.
Getting on my nerves.
You have 8-9. Huh?
I'd be very lucky if I have that.
It's a good answer. He's going to make up his mind to call. He's going to have to call here.
Call.
Also a 10.
What did he say? You got a 10?
You have a 10, yeah.
Also a 10.
Yeah.
10 high.
Oh, he likes that.
7-6. Oh.
He's funny, isn't he?
He really
And
is.
the last rate over the
He
last
really
card.
is.
Unbelievable.
He really
He's
is.
trying to pull you in.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. So.
Well, this is going to be over. Helmer's going through unless the river hits De Boer.
No.
Oh!
Can't believe it.
That's what people want to see.
Oh, no! Oh, no, that hurt him. That hurt him.
Wow, what a hand.
And a big pot. That was a very dramatic river card. Now, you can see, De Boer, he made the check raise on the flop, but Helmer said, hey, it's only 1,000 more. Two pair on the turn.
He's called with second pair. He's 2 pair. Thinks it's Christmas, and the killer card on the river.
That
Yeah,
hurt.
but I have to.
That hurt.
I have to pay.
Yeah, of course. No, that's easy.
Yeah, easy paying. Yeah.
I mean, it's ganz klar.
Totaal klaar, zeg maar. Totaal klaar.
That rocked him. That's the first really bad beat Helmer's taken tonight. We haven't seen that many bad beats tonight, have we?
No.
Cool.
Call.
And
oh yeah.
Raise.
Oh sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
I raised.
Just because she didn't say anything.
Yeah, I think. My fault.
1,500 more.
now,
I think he might
I
stick
put
it
all
in.
what he has in.
Yeah, there
We
you go.
raise all
Yeah.
in, yeah?
wow.
We
He
raise
knows,
all in.
he knows exactly
And
the
a call.
value of the pair
Yeah.
heads
Yeah,
up.
okay.
And it's a race, but for De Boer, a chance to take out Helmer and go to this final table. Yeah, Ace King looks good now,
To
but
get my flight.
I don't think this game's over yet for a long while.
I was kidding.
I'll tell you one thing, the temperature has risen.
I want to see a king.
There you go.
Not even close.
You've been at this a long
Same
time,
situation
Ian.
as before, you know.
Yeah.
You just can feel the
This is
momentum.
for sure.
It switches.
No doubts.
He needs runner for a straight. Well, there's one of
Come on,
them.
give me a jack.
Oh, dear.
And you had a 4 for the victory. Unlikely. There's a couple more jacks in the deck.
Ooh. Close.
Close.
How much I have to pay?
And you know what? They're basically level right
Yeah,
now.
This is half time, Jesse.
Right.
Now. Change ends. This is half time.
Feels to me more like extra time now.
Yeah.
Now the pressure's up because I think there's a goal. The golden goal's going to win at this stage.
Golden goal.
Isn't that what they call it?
Yeah. It's not going to penalties, that's for sure. These two would never take one, would they?
You know, they know a little bit more about each other. I mean,
The other
both of them actually felt a bit indignant about that big pot. De Boer because he had the best hand on the flop. Helmer because he had the best hand when the cards went all in. That's the kind of thing that can make you a little more competitive. They're gonna
it may be now that, now they've both been on the edge of losing or winning. Now that they're starting to pick up some cards as well. It might make for a bit more fast action.
I think so.
I've really enjoyed this though, and I think these two have played great stuff, and the banter's been fantastic.
Raise. 1,000 total.
Cool.
I'll have a little bit of that. I feel like De Boer has had more of a sense where he is post-flop. So maybe he's thinking, but he is out of position.
Yeah.
Now, is Helmer going to fire a continuation bet? Should he? It's a coordinated sort of board.
Yeah. Myself, I'd probably check it here.
That's enough to get the job done. That's enough to get the job done. And the reason you would check it is because...
Well, it's too... the board's too coordinated there. If your opposition has got any part of that, you can't get them off of it.
Right, and it looked like it hit a lot of hands that would call before.
That's right, and then the turn.
I should go.
More chips.
Yeah, I know. I still have to go.
Perfect.
One time I almost decided. I almost a ticket ready.
It's still virtually level with these blinds 2 and 4.
Which I mean, can you imagine? But finally, the other girl made it also. But
yeah, but that was much worse, The
afterwave, yeah.
I think, why not? Have a little look.
All in.
Well, oh my!
Let's have a little more chin wag and all in.
This is a nice move.
But you have enough. You have enough.
Oh.
After that, not too much.
Don't taunt him. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, you don't really want him to call Ronald. I think it's time to just
look there.
Uh-oh. Don't taunt him. Don't. You don't want to get him angry. But that was a great move. He said to himself, he's not that interested in his hand, but he didn't want to build a big pot out of position and have to see a flop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Didn't have to be all in, but definitely, start making the raises a bit bigger.
Horrible.
De Boer's fought himself back to level. He's going to be doing better than that now.
Raise.
He's certainly willing to commit all his chips with this pre-flop.
800, sorry.
Oh, okay.
If you say the amount, I'll put it in one motion. Okay?
Oh, okay, no problem.
800, 4 more.
Call.
Call.
The 1 over card for Helmer, but it's only 400 more.
Then you get SMS the whole night.
Yes, of course.
De Boer's gone a little bit serious, hasn't he?
Oh dear!
1,000, 10,000. Oh. I'm sorry.
Is it on me? Oh, you feel like this is the last pot?
Well, if he checks it, it will be.
Don't know even if he bets it. I mean, can De Boer get off these jacks here?
Tough, isn't it? Really tough.
It's almost like he wants to check raise, but feels like it'll seem...
All in.
Oh.
We have the 9.
Oh, I can't believe he's done that.
I call. I have to call, but I mean, if you have
And
the 9,
he got
it's
on.
unbelievable. With the 9?
Yeah.
Felt it.
Hey, what should I do?
Yeah, of course. No, perfect.
Yeah.
No,
With
it's
you
normal.
luck, you got the
I mean, I was happier that I saw 2 9, but happy,
So-
not happy, of course. Better than 9-8.
You're finished now.
Yeah, I'm over.
So no.
Now, there are 2
Not
jacks
yet.
in the deck.
I'm dead lucky.
This is over. I think Helmer covers De Boer, so this is Oversville.
Hoping you have a 4, but
This is the final whistle.
well
That's
done.
it. That's it. We got our champion.
Well done.
And I got news
That's
for
a
you.
good match.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you enjoy a good game of cards, this was definitely one of them. And I think Helmer enjoyed a good game of cards. Just like 96 all over again. That last hand, the min raise from the call from Helmer. I mean, all in, there was only 1,600 the pot. He shipped the lot.
That was probably the worst way to play that hand. But he still got paid. I mean, absolutely fantastic match and a great ending.
I'm a competitive player. If I sit there, I want to win. And of course, you have fun and you joke. And like with Thomas, joking about the rivalry, of course, Germany against Holland. And but it's fun. But when you sit there, you want to win. That's obvious.
If you want to know how I feel when I left the table, just remember the old games again between Germany and the Dutch. Yeah, it was always very strong fights. So hey, we beat them again.
Next time, it's our final table. Will it be a sports star or an internet qualifier who's crowned Sports Stars champion and pockets £20,000?